Nita.
And we are back, not with another update, but if you missed our last update, which was Nita's update for her 12 and 13 week, you can click the I. It should be up there to the right there. You can click on that and get caught up if you haven't been caught up, I don't know. But this is our how we met, well, kind of how we met, how we became a couple video, I guess.
Yeah.
You could put it that way.
Yeah, we gotta condense it because how we met and then how we became a couple has like, what, 4 years in between that?
Yeah, I mean, but that, it really wasn't anything kind of going on.
That's what I mean.
So yeah, exactly. So anyway, before you even watch this video, make sure you give it a like and make sure you subscribe and share this video with your friends. We have our shirts on, which if people who follow us on Facebook, you've already seen the announcement.
Right. So excited.
So excited. We're having a boy. Exciting. So super excited. So we had our custom shirts on. We had our photo shoot today, and it was really cool. So anyway, I guess I'll get started. I guess I'll start it off. Okay. I guess I'll start it off. I came to Target. It was my first job I ever had when I was 17. That was back in 2007. I was a junior in high school at the time. And I started in Target in July of 2007. Mm-hmm. And Nita transferred to Target from another store in October of 2007. And that's how we first met, and we became good friends. Fairly quickly, we became really good friends. Yeah. And start hanging out and just start having a relationship outside of work. And I guess I graduated from high school the very next year.
And I went to his graduation.
Yeah, she went to my graduation. She was my only friend outside of my family who actually came to my graduation. Oh yeah, and she came to my graduation party. Mm-hmm. Me and a friend of mine at the time had a joint graduation party, and she came to that. And
because I was also friends with her too.
Yeah, you were always friends with her as well.
Because she also worked there as well.
No, she didn't work there as well.
No,
she didn't work there as well. But she knew her through me because she was one of my good friends in high school. Yeah. One of my best friends actually. And I graduated in 2008, and then I moved back to Port Arthur because that's where I'm originally from, to stay with some family. And we still stayed in contact. We actually went on a cruise, which I'll put a picture up so you guys can see it. We actually went on a cruise, and we were just friends. Yeah.
Just friends, even though everybody became in contact. Swore otherwise, but yeah.
We were just friends, yep. And that was in 2012? Mm-hmm. No, 2011, because I just turned 21.
Really?
Yeah, it was 2011.
Okay.
So 2011, we went on a cruise together.
That's why he's telling the story. I'm not good with dates.
Yeah, I'm going to get to all the good stuff. The good stuff is coming. But 2011, we went on the cruise. I turned 21 on the cruise. Actually,
that's right.
We went on the cruise as a birthday thing for me.
It was so funny.
What?
When you try to drink an alcoholic drink and you told them don't put a lot of alcohol in there.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I do that on every cruise though, because I'm not a big drinker.
Right, and then they still put a lot of alcohol in there. It was funny. I think it's because when you have your C pass, it has like, because he had upgraded once he actually turned 21 on the cruise. So that's probably like, it's your birthday, you're going to turn up. Because I remember, because he was like, this is strong. So I tried, I was like, this is strong. And he specifically told them, don't put a lot of alcohol. It was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
That was funny. I do remember that.
Because he tried to drink it, he was like, what is this?
And then we actually went on another cruise with one of our good friends, Grace, and she basically had I had like a deja vu moment. She told the bartender the same thing, and she said, can you put a little bit more, and he said a little bit more alcohol. She said, no, a little bit more syrup. It's really strong. He literally put some more syrup in it and put some more alcohol in it. And she literally, it was so funny. She literally, we walked by her room because our rooms were not next to each other, but on the same floor. And we walked by and we just seen the drink sitting.
Yeah, her drink was sitting outside the room. She didn't fool with that drink because I think we went somewhere else and came back. That drink was
sitting
like,
outside the room.
She was like,
not doing it.
It was so fun. Yeah, it was fun.
That was so funny.
Because we're not, we'll drink occasional drink, but we're not like drinkers like that. We don't drink for a buzz. We drink because we like fruity drinks. So.
And
it's funny.
It's definitely socially.
Yeah.
Definitely socially. We're not one of those people who just kind of, let me get a glass of wine. We don't even have wine typically, unless we buy it for a specific reason. Right. But anyway.
Yeah. We off the subject.
Right. So basically, back onto the story. And so basically in 2012, I moved back to Dallas. So I was in Port Arthur from 2009 to 2012. I moved back to Dallas, moved back to Dallas, and at the time I stayed with my aunt, and I didn't have a job. I was looking for a job at the time, and like I said, me and Nita never lost contact, so we still were really good friends.
I couldn't lose contact. He would call me all the time. I'm not a phone person, but he would call me all the time, so. Yeah,
I carried the comment, but I didn't mind. It was really, really good to, have a friend.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good solid friend because you guys, I had, church has followed me, and I say church has followed me throughout my life because my mom, we moved everywhere. And it seemed like no matter where we went, there was a church bus. So I knew I had some kind of, God was calling me. And so at the time when I met him, I kind of was going through some things, so I kind of stepped back from God. And it was good because he was always someone I could talk to about God, but didn't have to worry about him judging me or preaching to me because I already, know, there's nothing that you can't tell me because I already know about God. So that was good. And then I'm not a big talker, so it didn't bother me. He just carried the conversation. It didn't bother me at all because, he was my only really best friend. So because I don't do well with a lot of friends because I'm not a phone person, so I typically fall out of contact with people, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I would definitely talk because I'm a talker. I tell you guys. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a talker. But moved back in 2012, and at the time, Nita was, I guess you could tell that part because that's your own personal.
So I had, I was smoking cigarettes and I was smoking weed, and it just got to the point to where I was like, I just got tired of smoking, honestly. I had already been weaning myself off from smoking weed. I had already probably, I don't know, maybe smoke one time a day or something like that. And I say that because I used to, when I was young, I used to smoke every day, all day. So I'd already been weaning myself from that. I think the hardest thing for me was cigarettes. I had a hard time with that because when I decided to stop, I just stopped smoking the weed. Everybody has different experiences with that, but for me, weed was not hard to quit. The hard to me, it was cigarettes. The legal cigarettes was harder for me to kick, and so I wanted to do a fast because it takes 21 days to break a habit. And so I was trying to do a fast, and I was trying to do it by myself, but I would waste money. I would say, I'm gonna quit today, and I would throw those cigarettes away, and then maybe 3 or 4 hours later, I wanted cigarettes so bad, I would go buy a pack of cigarettes, then feel really, really guilty, and then throw away cigarettes. And so finally, I think it was 4 days I tried to do it by myself, and finally I called Mike and I said, look, Mike, I'm trying to do this fast. I really want to quit smoking and get my life together, and I need an accountability partner. So he ended up coming to stay with me for a little while so we can do the fast together because he was doing a 40 a day
it was doing Lent
Daniel
time.
fast
So
for
I was
Lent.
doing 40-day fast
for Lent. So, and I was doing 21 fast, which I ended up doing the Daniel fast with him, but my fast was 21-day fast. So
so I came and stayed with Nita temporarily, and we got up, prayed, and at the time I had a job at that point, and I was going to work, and we prayed together, did Bible studies and stuff like that. And at the time, her focus was to break a habit. And at the time, I was addicted to pornography. So that was something that I had always struggled with in my teen years. Being a virgin when when me and Nita got together, and never actually having a sexual encounter. That was something that I just struggled with, and that's something that when I confided in people at church and stuff like that, there was just such a common thing of men in church. Not to normalize it in any way, but such a common struggle. So that was my thing to try to. That was my goal of doing the 40-day fast as well. So we were trying to both break something, and at the end of the 21-day fast, Nita was completely delivered from cigarettes. She had stopped smoking cigarettes at the time, and I said I'm going to continue to stay here until Easter. Easter that year was on April the 8th, 2012. It was April the 8th, 2012, and I made a big dinner to celebrate Easter. Then after that, I was supposed to be going home, back to my aunt's house, and at the end of the fast, we had food and everything, and we began to listen to Hillsong, I'm Your Healer. And we just began to worship. It was me, her sister's neighbors, her daughters, our daughter, excuse me, were there. And the power of God was just so strong, and it was just really, really tangible. The power of God really knocked almost everybody out in the house. Our daughter was baptized in the Holy Spirit.
My oldest daughter
Was baptized in the Holy Spirit. Nita had a refreshing at that point as well. It was just such a thick presence of God. And we, at the time, the girls were living with their father at the time. So I was bringing them back to their father's house. And on our way home, I was supposed to be getting my stuff to get ready to go. And when I walked in the house, I seen a vision. It was so weird. I seen a vision, and it was a vision of me and Nita getting married. And I just was like, this is weird. This is strange. Because, not to negate, Nita's, I've always said, oh, she's a pretty girl, or, she not unattractive, but it's just not something that I was interested in, because for one, she was 10 years older than me. She had 2 kids. Right. That wasn't my, I don't know. I didn't think of, it ain't that I didn't envision it. I thought of her more of a big sister in my mind, than any kind of romantic relationship. Right. But when I had that vision, I was like, when you're on a fast, anybody who's a spiritual person, when you're on a fast, your gifts from God are so clear, and you begin to kind of tap into that spiritual realm where you can really hear and see what God is trying to show you. So I took that, and I was like, okay, I didn't say anything to Nita at the time. I called my good friend Grace at the time, and I told Grace, and Grace was like, and if I'm not mistaken, Grace had already told me, I think I told you this, Grace had already said, I see you and Juanita getting married. And I was just like, that's weird. And that's something that she had told me. I never told Nita that, because it was something that she had told me previously while I was over there fasting with Nita, and it was just weird. So when I called Grace, she was like, that's your confirmation, and then we called another good friend of mine, Jasmine, who is a woman of faith as well, and also has a prophetic gift. Right. And she said, you know what, I hear a yes in my spirit. And I just was like, this is weird, because I don't have an attraction to her. I said, this is strange to me. Right. So
but then pause it right there, because then I had to tell myself.
Okay, go ahead.
So mind you guys, I did a 21-day fast, and so God really had to deal with me, because like I said, I had been through some things. That's a whole nother video, a whole nother testimony. But I had been through things with men. I got married really young, and that was not the best situation. And then my experience with men was not a bad situation. So when I met Michael, first of all, like he said, he's 10 years younger than me. I watched him graduate from high school. So I was for sure like that. He was not on my radar. But not just him, but no man was on my radar. Like, it was so funny because he would be like, why don't you give such and such a chance? And I was like, no, because he said this. It's like, okay, because he said that. It's like, if you told me what kind of money you had or what kind of, or anything like that, it just automatically turned me off. I don't care about your money. I don't care about what you drive. I didn't want to hear anything. I wanted action. And just men that I was around just wasn't about that action. And I was, you couldn't do nothing for me. So that's where I was. So during my 21-day fast, the Lord was already dealing with me, because at that time, if he hadn't dealt with me first, my heart was not to love anybody, really. So the Lord had already been dealing with me with some things. I had started back I was going to church during the fast as well.
Oh yeah, we had start going to church together. Yeah, that's right.
So I was going with him to church at the time, and they had this singles thing, and I went to a couple of times, and which was really insightful, and just saying, how, there's things that you want in a man, but the enemy can also trick you with things. And it was like, well, write a list of what you're looking for. And I wrote a list of what I was looking for. And when I wrote the list, he still was not in my mind. So by the time I got finished with the fast, it dropped in my spirit that Michael was my husband. And then when that dropped in my spirit, I went back over my list, and I was like, he is all these things that I wrote down. So so it had already been revealed to me that he was my husband, but I was not to say anything, so I didn't say anything. So meanwhile,
yeah, and that was told to me after the fact, obviously. So basically, at that point, I had finished talking to my spiritual counsel at that time, and then I said a prayer to myself, and I told God, I said, God, if this is you, I don't want it to be my flesh. If this is you, God, I want you to reveal it to me. And I came back upstairs, and I said, Nita, I gotta tell you something. And she was like, I already know you gotta tell me. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, God told me that you're my wife. And she was like, God had already told me this. And I said, well, it's weird because I don't feel that way about you. And I said, and I told her, I wanted to make sure I said, say that, I don't think you're not attractive. I think you are attractive. I've always told you were attractive. And I just don't, I don't know. I said, but I'm willing to move forward in a relationship. In my mind, in my natural mind, I'm saying, okay, well, I'm going to start dating, my spouse at this point, because I need to date you in a intimate way, because I don't know you in that way.
Right.
That's why this video is titled How We Got Engaged and Then Start Dating, because it's just that weird. So
we got engaged and then started dating.
Right. So basically, I prayed that prayer again before I went to sleep. Nita was good. I mean, she was at peace with it, and
I had more time to
process it.
Than you did, yeah.
So when I went to bed, I dreamed all night, which I am a dreamer. I typically dream a lot when I'm sleeping. But I dreamed, and bits and pieces of the dream, and I don't remember. I really don't remember it anymore. I've told this story so many times. I know it was dreams about me and Nita, about marriage, about us loving each other. Like, I can tell you what the gist of the dream was, but I can't tell you a specific event that happened in the dream. And I remember dreaming this all night long. And I remember getting up, saying to myself, okay, this is still weird. And I got up, because I was sleeping on the couch at her apartment at the time. And I got up, and I got on the side of the bed, on the side of the couch, and all these feelings began to start rushing. Like, it was like in a blink of an eye, I fell in love with her. It was just so weird. It was so God, and it was such a divine moment. It wasn't, it was such a God moment. I mean, that's the only thing I can describe it as, is just a God moment. I asked God to show me himself and to reveal it to me, and that's exactly what he did. And, then I told Nita about it, and that's when we start dating, and that was April.
Yeah.
And that's when we start dating and going on dates and getting to know each other. And that's when we
we knew each other, but when we started
knowing each other on that level.
And not only that, but when you date, there's other conversations you need to have too. What what does your idea of a marriage look like? What, you know, how do you want to raise your kids? Do you want kids? Like those kind of things. And it was weird at first. And it's just so funny because we have been friends for so long that we thought we knew everything about each other, but
we didn't.
No.
We didn't. Our first year of marriage, which that's a whole nother video.
Yeah, it's on the video.
Was very, very interesting. It was a learning experience.
Yeah, it was a learning experience.
With anything.
Yeah, with anything, because we're two people, we're coming as one. We wasn't didn't have that much intimacy. Like we wasn't like other couples who dated the whole time they knew each other and then got married. Like we were friends and just friends, because you know we have friends with benefits. We were friends and just friends, and then we went from that to get to know each other more intimately, and then getting married and being intimate. And then we had to just learn, you know, we had to learn each other. We had to learn, you know, different things that like we didn't know. Like I didn't know that I'm the type of person to where I put stuff away, I know where I put it. And he likes, I don't know, he just likes to mess with stuff and he moves it. And then he don't know where he put it. Like that was a thing. The whole time we were friends, I didn't cook. But he thought all of a sudden I was gonna cook every day. Like these are like little petty things that we would argue about, because now we look back and it's petty, but we had to get to know these things about each other. And we had to, you know, do a lot of compromising and stuff like that. And so, and God had to be always in that. That's the thing. We never went to bed mad at each other, and we prayed together very, very often. So, that's how that was. And then, like it was weird in the very beginning when we started dating, but
it was weirder for people around us more so than us. You know, I remember me telling my sister, and she didn't say anything negative. I remember me telling my sister and her saying, you know, this is weird. You know, this is strange to me. And I respected that. You know, like I said, it wasn't nothing negative. It wasn't nothing mean or anything like that. It was just weird for her, you know, because Juanita had always been my friend, and my family had known Juanita. Mm-hmm. And they liked Juanita as we were friends.
Right.
So, you know, that was an adjustment, you know, and, you know, even us getting married was such a God thing. We, you know, when God first told us we were supposed to get married on April the 8th, 2012, mm-hmm. we was like, okay, we'll wait until April the 8th, 2013 to get married. And we ended up getting married sooner. Mm-hmm. We ended up getting married in November of that year, November the 10th. And even the way that God did that was such a divine thing. Like our relationship has always been a divine thing. Mm-hmm. You guys know our fertility story. That's a divine thing. You know, our relationship has always been a divine encounter with God, and something that God has always orchestrated. And one of the things that's so funny to me is that we decided on October the 1st, you know, we decided, Nita basically said, you know, we need to get married. You know, there's no need for us to drag this out. We need to go ahead and get married. And I agreed. And we set a date of November the 10th. And, didn't know how we were going to pay for it. Didn't have a venue, didn't have a dress, didn't have any money. And God used people to bless us. You know, her sister bought her dress and her cake. Mm-hmm. My mom gave us $500.
She helped us out.
She helped us out. We got married in a public park.
We were looking to pay, and it was like, well, you can't really decorate it per se. You can't put anything up there, and you can't close it down, you know, so people might be walking by. But she basically said, but it is a public area.
She did.
So
and I'm gonna put pictures up of the wedding. Yeah. Our wedding was beautiful. People will see the pictures, say, did y'all get married at the Botanical Gardens? Like people really think it's such a exclusive spot. And it's just a park.
It's a park. Yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful park.
It was a beautiful park, but it's just a park.
It's a park, and so we that, and then I found I can't remember the name of the place that I went through, but I found a good photographer that was a very, very reasonable price.
You got your bouquet and stuff online?
I ordered my bouquet and stuff online. Like I said, I got my dress. The only place I actually bought my stuff that wasn't online was my shoes.
And your veil.
Yeah, and my veil. But we went to, the shoes I bought from new, but the veil and the jewelry that I wore was a consignment. What else? And then of course my children's dress, that was Ross. I mean, but it doesn't. But it all looked like we really spent a lot of money.
It really did.
On this wedding, and God just really provided. We had our reception at BJ's.
A restaurant.
At a restaurant.
For people who may not know.
Well, they might not. Right.
Yeah.
And so everybody, paid for their own meal, and that's just how we celebrated. So
it's crazy. And I do remember that, maybe 2 weeks before the wedding, one of my family members came to me, which kind of upset me, came to me and said, somebody said, why is your relative, if I say what that person said, it'll give the person away, but he's, why is your relative marrying this old woman with 2 kids? And I remember thinking to myself and knowing that it had been discussed, among family, knowing that Nita was always my friend, and that all of a sudden it was an issue. It really did hurt my feelings, because I was thinking to myself, this is such a God thing, a God moment, and my family is not, they're real spiritual people, but as far as, I'm not gonna say all my family, but they don't understand the mysticism of God, the way that He moves in a spiritual manner. I think a lot of people, and this is not to discount my family, but a lot of people want A plus B, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 times 2 is 4, things to make sense. And sometimes God just doesn't make sense. So I personally remember it was a weekend before our wedding, and I had to have a moment with them, because I just was like, is there an issue? Is there a problem? If it is, I would appreciate maybe if you don't feel comfortable, not to come. And that was a hard conversation for me to have, but it was one of those conversations with, I want people who are going to be for me, who's going to bless me, who's going to pour into this marriage, pour into something that I know that God has ordained. Well, I guess I was running my mouth too much because the camera died. Well, it didn't die, it overheated. But what I was trying to say before it cut off was that I want to share that part of the story, because it, every story, everything that God tells you is not going to be welcomed by everybody.
Right.
Regardless of what that is. And it wasn't that people thought it was weird. I thought that was a valid concern. I totally understand.
Yeah, because it was weird.
It was weird, and it's okay. And then of course, being the baby of the family, being the youngest in all my family, and I guess the protectiveness of those people, and that was fine. I think what it was that they chose to discuss it among themselves instead of bringing their concerns to me or asking me my questions about it. Only one family member stepped up and told me this was going on, and that's why I felt the need to address it.
Right.
Which it really didn't get addressed, because then everybody is looking around like, who said that, Right. But you guys were all just having a conversation the other day about it.
Yeah, but you was able to say what you felt that you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what it was. Cause I don't think anybody, and I just want to make that clear. Nobody was upset because people thought it was weird, because I think that's why the Lord did with me first, because it was weird. I watched him graduate. Like when I knew him, he was a young teen, so not a young teen, but
I wasn't a young teen.
Yeah, but
I was a young adult.
He was a young adult, and so it kind of was, and the same things that they were probably thinking he had already dealt with me about, because I was like, he's young, he's still in college, and I have teenagers, and how is he gonna adapt to being a parent so quickly?
She didn't have 2 teenagers. She had 1 teenager. She had a 10 and a 14-year-old at the time.
Well, I had 2 older kids.
Older children.
And at that age, it's hard to just move right in that role. You have to work up to that and build up to that. And then just for me, like he was very mature for his age, don't get me wrong. And a lot of guys out there, what's the word I'm looking for? He was not near on the level of any of the guys out there that was his age. He was on a higher level as far as maturity wise, and what he was trying to accomplish and what he was doing. He wasn't, you know, running the streets or doing anything like that, but he was still young in my eyes. So it was kind of at first, but my thing is, when if you really feel like your family member is doing something that doesn't make sense, or you want to counsel them, you come to them and you counsel them out of love. Definitely. You know, you don't help that family member by talking about that family member behind their back.
Definitely.
And then you never address the issue, and then when the issue is brought up, you still never say anything about the issue. Then to me, that borders along something else. It's like I said, I mean, it's okay to be concerned, but no one wanted to come to him and say, you know, I think one is a little old. Are you really sure about this? You know, what led you upset? You know, explain to me, you know, how did you feel God said that, or what exactly do you feel? No, but nobody actually did that, and I think that's the part that bothered you. Not the fact that they thought it was weird, but the fact that if you guys are really that concerned for me, why is nobody coming to me so that I can explain to you what's going on? And the thing about it is, when God moves and he does something, and just like throughout the Bible, when God really does a great move like that, you always have people that's mocking you. You always have people that
doesn't understand.
You know, I mean.
But when you don't understand.
Noah in the ark.
When you don't, you know, Noah in the ark, he preached that it was going to rain for 100 years, and it had never rained. People was like, what is rain?
They thought it was very strange.
What is that?
Virgin Mary. They thought it was very strange.
They thought it was strange that she was a virgin carrying a child.
Right.
And the point I'm trying to make, and not to spend too much time on that, but the point I'm trying to make is that when God moves, people sometimes miss the move of God because you don't understand how he moves.
Right.
And I can't speak for anyone's relationship in 2017, but at that time in 2012, they didn't get that concept. I'm not going to say everyone, because I'm not going to speak a blanket statement on everyone, but I will say most.
Yeah.
I will say most. But, you know, and
the people that understood our relationship were those that was where we were spiritually.
Definitely. And those people totally got it, and it was such a organic thing with those people. You know, and I know this is not our how we met story, but it is how we got here. How do we get to this fertility journey? How did we make it here? You know, the beginning of our marriage, Anita was, you know, had a lot of other health issues that were so unexpected, you know, and that was very hard on our early marriage, you know. She had, which we've talked about briefly, she had abnormal cells with her cervix, and that had to get cut out. She had had that procedure twice. We've had 2 tubals in that time frame. She has a chronic back issue due to a nerve issue.
From repetitive injury to the back. Because this is basically the job that I was doing. It was
at the time, repetitive injury to the back, and she didn't work for a whole year. You know, and having to bear the burden of taking care of 2 kids and a wife, and you know, and I think we was only 3 years in at the time. That was only 2 years ago, and you know, it was really hard. But you know, it's something that you kind of say, this is what marriage is. It's the good and the bad. It's the ups and the downs. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. This is the best thing that God has ever done for me in my life. And you know, looking back to say we're going to be welcoming a baby boy in February, well, most likely January, because she's going to have a planned C-section. Yeah. But we're going to be welcoming a baby boy at the top of the year. I wouldn't trade it. I was talking to Nita about this the other day. I wouldn't trade the journey for nothing. You know, unfortunately, it was hard to have 2 tubals. It was hard to go through a lot of different things. You know, when Nita had her second cervical biopsy at the time, she didn't stop bleeding. We've had so many obstacles in our way. She didn't stop bleeding, and I remember the doctor at the time coming out saying, you know, if she doesn't stop bleeding, I'm going to take it. He said, because her life is more important, and I completely agree. Yeah. I completely agree with him 100%. It wasn't a second thought like, oh my God. It was more like, okay, God, it's whatever you want to do. It's in your hands. It's your will. You know, you said that we would have a son. Maybe you said that through adoption. Maybe, you know, when God says something, sometimes we have to understand, how did he say it? You know, or I guess what I want to say is when God gives you a prophecy and God said that we would have a son, and these obstacles come in the way, I'm going to change what I said, these obstacles are coming in the way, I think we start talking ourselves out of what God said. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe God said, maybe he meant this, or maybe he meant that.
Right.
And to see that we've come full circle to, we only have one embryo left, and it was a boy.
Yep, and we had named our boy like 3 years ago. We knew what we were.
We already knew what we were.
We didn't even have any girl names picked out, you guys. Like,
we just knew that God was going to give us a son.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing. That's our early marriage. This is how we got here. This is how we got here, and I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, it was because it was rough. I mean, you go from I had to get surgery to my cervix the first time, and obviously you need your cervix to be able to carry a child. And then when I had to go and do it again, like I did not want to do it, but he was like, it can turn into cancer, and he was like, that's just not an option. So I went and got it done the second time, and they was like, well, you have a little bit left, but it wasn't, it wasn't gonna be enough. And then you have that, and then when you have that surgery, they finally talked me into it, and then I would not stop bleeding. Like they had to bring me back under again to try to get me to stop bleeding, and it was like, and when I came out, they was like, okay, well, if the bleeding doesn't stop, then we're gonna have to take the whole uterus, and that was like, wow. And then that was a kind of roller coaster, but God healed, and I did stop bleeding, and then you have a tubal, and that is devastating. And then you go to the fertility doctor, and she's like, well, basically your tube is dumping trash basically into your uterus, when we feel like that's why you're not able to stay pregnant. So because I could have got pregnant several times. We don't know. We knew we can get pregnant. We got pregnant, but it just wasn't sticking. So they went ahead and took a tube, and then we was like, okay, we're gonna see what God's gonna do first before we move forward with fertility. And then we do get pregnant, and I just knew that this was it. Like this was it. He was really like hesitant, and I was just full faith, full forward. So when I went to my fertility doctor and she said she didn't see it in the uterus, I still was in denial. I was like, okay, well, you don't see it, but but this is it. I know this is it. And then for me to go to emergency room, and it was like, yeah, it's definitely in your tubes. And then they give you a shot to try to basically abort the baby. To basically try to, abort the baby. And it was not working. I would go in, and she was like, okay, my hormone levels were still high, and so I think I went in 3 different times for a shot. And finally she was like, okay, she didn't do it on purpose, but she wanted to know if there's a heartbeat, because once there's a heartbeat, the chances of that working kind of it decreases. And so, you guys, when I heard that heartbeat and I knew that I still was not going to be able to have that baby, that really did something to me. It was a very devastating blow to my spirit. Like I was spiritually defeated at that moment. I was just like, I guess this is just not going to happen for me. So there was a heartbeat, and she apologized because she didn't know that it was on. She was just trying to see if there was one, and there was. So she was like, we're gonna have to just go ahead and take this too, because at this point, if we don't get rid of it, your life is in danger. Like it could have ruptured at any time. So I had to go in and get that tube removed, and I ended up having to take depression medicine. I was depressed about that for a long time. So, and Michael had to be there for me. Like that was not a very proud spiritual time for me. Michael had to really, that's why he gives you, a spouse. He had to really carry us, because I was just done. I was just done. So, and I understand that there's people that's going through this journey, and their journey probably took them a lot longer. and they might have had a lot more blows, but you know, this is not easy. You know, this wasn't easy at all, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner to go through this with. I really feel like God knows what he's doing when he put people together. This is a testimony. This is a testimony for other people. This is a testimony to each other about how God works. I feel like God made us to be a testimony to others about what a marriage should look like. You know, and in this time, you know, people think this marriage is perfect. You guys must have everything in common, and we are each other's opposites. Like, he is emotional, I'm not emotional. I have to plan and think everything out. He's more spontaneous than I am. He don't like spending money. I like spending. Like, when I say we're each other's opposite, we are each other's opposite.
I'm not lazy, she's lazy.
Whatever. Inside joke. Anyway, you were wrong for that. Anyway, so, but we are each other's opposites, and to see how we come together and how we have to compromise. We compromise on everything. We compromise daily, and that's how we are. And we, you know, have to keep God in it. And I think that's the way God prefers it.
Yep.
And so this is a divine thing. I mean, every single thing that we've had to go through is a divine thing. When we decided the date to get married, and we knew we was going to get married in a park, everybody thought we was crazy. We're getting married November 10th in a park. It's going to be cold. People are like, I'm going to give me a sweater dress and this and that. And I was like, no, it's not going to be cold. I got my dress with my shoulders out, everything. I just knew I had open-toe shoes. No, it's not going to be. And it was like 70-something degrees November 10th in Dallas, Texas. So that was a divine thing. When he picked the date, we didn't know that.
We didn't know it was my grandmother's birthday, my mom's mom. I didn't even know what her birthday was. That was really, really crazy.
Yeah. So
she would have been 80 on the day that I got married. She would have turned 80.
Yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, it's a divine thing. I mean, we go through fertility treatment, and I end up with one embryo, and that one embryo is that boy that was prophesied. So it's just, you know, this whole relationship is a divine thing, and the thing about it, sometimes people just don't understand divine things. And so if you get nothing else out of what we're saying, is basically we're saying is that you need to trust what God gives you. And you're going to have people around you who's going to say, that doesn't make sense. You guys are crazy. They're not going to make it. That's not going to last. And you hold on to what God says, and you move forward with that vision that he gave you.
That's right.
He will come through every time.
Because remember, God's word cannot come back void.
Mm-mm.
You know, through this journey of loss, of being defeated, you know, we had each other. We had each other because, you know, towards the end, I gave up. I really did. I gave up myself. And we were both defeated. And we were both, you know, but we have spiritual friends. We have people who hold us accountable. We have people who really love God and who pushed us to get back up and, you know, to try again. So we made a decision that we were going to do IVF. We made a decision, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna really say this. We wiped out our entire savings on one round of IVF, knowing that our chances of conceiving the first time was less than 15%. Going into our fertility doctor telling us your ovarian reserve is low. Do you want to do a donor egg? Nobody will ever know. Do you want to do a donor egg? They have people that look like you. They will look like you. Nobody will ever have to know. And that was something that we considered. And I just remember saying, you know what? I'm going to stand flat-footed on what God told me. God said he was going to give us a son. And not negating anyone's journey on doing a donor egg or adoption or anything like that. But I just know what God told me. And I believed that. And that's what I got.
Right.
You know, and we had to stand firm on what God said. And our fertility doctor said it the best. This journey of our fertility is a testament of God's faithfulness.
Right. Yeah. So and I just think that that's how God just made our relationship. Our relationship is always going to be a testimony of what God can do and will do. So, and I just think that, like I said, in this time and age, we need an example like that, you know. And I thank God that He put us together because, you know, a lot of things that we went through, because you guys have to understand, we'll be married in 5 years in November.
Yeah.
So this is just 5 years of marriage, and people break. I mean, marriages don't make it through stuff like this.
Yeah.
So, and you know, we may have been spiritually defeated. You know, we've had to learn how to compromise and stuff, but our love for each other never wavered. I joke around, tell people all the time. I say I feel like me and my husband were still on our honeymoon. We bicker. Don't get it wrong. We're not perfect. We bicker, but I never doubted that He is my husband. That is who God gave me. So we have, you know, through all this, we have always had each other's back, and we have always. If we didn't have anybody else, we couldn't talk to anybody else. We always had each other's back. So I think that is such a blessing to know that. You know,
it is.
No matter what, we're there for each other.
That's right. And this is our love story. This is who we are. And I don't know. I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's probably a lot longer than what we planned, but you know, it is what it is. That is our story.
It is our story.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
I have the best love story. You know, I watch other people's love stories on Facebook or YouTube, and I say I have the best love story because my love story shows that, you know, you can date before you even get engaged. You can be engaged before you even date. You know, and I tell people that, and they laugh, and I'm just like, you know, you just don't understand what God done. You don't understand what God did and what He is still doing. So when we welcome this son, it will not even be. It won't even be the end. It'll just be the next chapter.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you watched to the end,
thank you.
Thank you. And say that I watched to the end. I'm going to put up a poll right here. It's going to be an eye. I'm going to say, did you watch to the end? Yes or no. I want to know who actually watched to the end.
Right.
Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a like and share this on your social medias.
Yeah.
Share this on your Facebook. Share this on your Instagram. Share this on your Twitter. Yeah. Really share this love story because I think our love story is a God thing. It's a God thing, and I think it will bless someone. Yeah. So I love you guys, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.